Hello, I'm David Hunt and welcome to The Art Hunter. My guest today, oh gosh, so much to talk about, can't believe it. A Bachelor of Performing Arts, of course she has. Trained with Ukrainian dance company, we'll be definitely talking about that a lot. Received awards, yeah, that's understandable. And along with the way, teaches with Australian Ballet School, which I think is the most amazing organisation. Founder and artistic director of Ukrainian dance company, producing a national tour, which will be very exciting to talk about. Hello and welcome to The Art Hunter.
Hi, thanks for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So let's talk about it. What's your background? Are you, Ukrainian family or?
Yes, I am. So both sides of my family, both my mum and my dad, come from Ukrainian heritage.
How long ago? Were you born here?
Yes,
you?
I was definitely born in Australia. My mother was born in South Australia. My grandparents left Ukraine just during the Second World War and through Germany. She was born just when they arrived in Australia.
Right.
My grandmother was pregnant on the boat.
Okay.
And my father, his grandparents came through Bosnia, from Ukraine to Bosnia, but much earlier than the Second World War.
Right, okay.
And then he arrived here through Italy, Trieste.
Italy, wow.
Yeah.
So let's reflect on what's going on in the world right now. So obviously, the form of dancing that you're mostly here to talk about today is all about a country that's been torn apart right now. So your family, even though they're, your mother was born here, are still very connected with Ukraine?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got family still over in Ukraine, cousins of my parents. My mum's side, we're in contact with quite a bit.
Right.
They're in Kyiv and Lviv and also in Poland.
Right.
But they've been in Kherson as well. So it's been a really, it's been a difficult journey.
Yeah, it would be for you. So, but the world is on your side, you know that, but unfortunately there's crazy people in this world as well.
It's been, it's 2 years now, which is an incredibly, way too long.
Way too long.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about dance. What was the interest? Was it, like folk dancing to begin with?
Yeah, so my mother used to teach a community group called Verkhovena when I was little, and I started dancing at 3.
Wow.
And danced with her, and then when I was in, I think it was grade 4, I think I was like 7 years old, 8 years old, I begged my mum to do ballet. Begged and begged. I think I begged for a whole year before she enrolled me. And then I studied ballet. I went on to university. I did a Bachelor of Performing Arts at Monash, but I did my minor at Deakin, which back then was Rusden.
Yep.
So I did contemporary dance there after, going through my ballet school and all of that. And then when I was at university, a Ukrainian dance teacher arrived from Canada and just blew my mind of what Ukrainian dance was. I mean, we had limited resources here in Australia, that I had access to. So I'd always done all this other dance training, but Ukrainian dance was always very much my favorite style, even though I love classical and I love contemporary and I love other styles, but Ukrainians just gets in my soul.
Yeah, and plus it's part of your heritage as well.
Yeah, that too. But there's also something just as a dancer, like I teach a lot of dancers who are non-Ukrainian, who do love the Ukrainian dance style.
Okay, why? What is it about it?
I think in our company we have about 8 girls currently who come from a non-Ukrainian background, who've just come from other ballet schools. So they've trained through their ballet schools, they've done some character at their ballet schools and then found us because they want to keep performing. You still use all your classical technique that you learned. It's energetic, it's fun, it's acrobatic, it's still very technical, it's fast-paced, and slow, depends on the region. But I think there's a lot in it for a dancer to be excited by.
Right. And why did you start the company, the dance school?
So it's our 10th anniversary this year. So we started in 2014, the beginning. I was teaching beforehand at a community group, and it was just time to start my own school. So we started Lehenda in 2014, and we've had a school and a company ever since. And my aim really is to share Ukrainian dance with as many people as I can everywhere. I guess when I first started and growing up, it was for me about the culture, obviously, but more about the dance style and the excitement and how much I loved it. And as a dancer, I was like, every dancer should try this dance style because it's awesome. Now, especially in the last 2 years, it's been, even though my reason was always to share the culture, it's become even more evident how much I want to share the Ukrainian culture. I think people hear about Ukraine now and they think war, but they don't know a lot about the culture and about the people. And I guess that's our job, to advocate for Ukraine and show people how awesome the culture is and that there is something worth fighting for.
But we all would sort of guess along the way about like the style, the very folk dancing and per se. But as you said, like the over your shoulder is the shot in Chicago in front of that amazing piece of sculpture, and with a guy doing the most incredible jump, and like when you see that, you go, hello, that's beyond a ballet dancer, isn't it?
It's it does kind of push those boundaries. I have to say, my students at the Australian Ballet School really enjoy, my male students really enjoy that aspect of it. And
now let's talk about that. Like because you've got your like your school, but then you also teach at Australian ballet school. Tell us, what is that for those people that don't know about it?
So the Australian Ballet School is a classical training centre for dancers who are on the road to becoming professional dancers. So they don't just study classical, they do contemporary, they do character, and they also study schoolwork. Because
they're all at that age still, aren't they?
So I teach from level 4 to level 6, and their level 4 can be probably from year 7 to 9. And then the school goes all the way up to level 8. So the dancers have usually finished school by level 8, but it's still training. And so I teach character, but I happen to teach Ukrainian dance. They also do a Spanish program in level 7. And character obviously is used in many ballets. It complements their ballet training in different ways. And the students really enjoy that different
a different discipline and a different style of dance as well.
Different energy.
Exactly. And where do those students come from? It's all over Australia, isn't it?
All over Australia.
Which is, that's the thing that really impresses me. A lot of parents, one of them often travel and live with them, or a lot of the kids come by themselves, don't they?
Yes, we've got a boarding house.
Which is fascinating in itself as well. It's a true ballet school per se, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's I've been there for now, this is my 3rd year at the ballet school, and I'm just amazed by how nurturing and great the environment is and how they look after the students on all levels.
Well, it would. They need to, because like they're young adolescents, so it's really important. Why did you decide to go there? Was there a reason?
I probably didn't decide to go there as such. I guess I'm quite. If someone had told me 10 years ago you're going to be teaching at Australian Ballet School, I probably would have fallen over and laughed at them. But there is a teacher who has just retired from there, Christine Howard-Bubenko, and she was the character teacher there for many, many years. And I met Christine when a Ukrainian choreographer called Sergei Zubatov was here from Kyiv. This was years ago, and he came and he did a workshop, and they used the studios of the Australian Ballet for that. So I met Christine through that, and we kept in touch. And then I did go to her to ask for some mentorship of what I'm doing with my teaching, because before I spoke with her, I'd only ever taught in a community setting. And she gave me some great advice, and I started teaching at the Australian Conservatoire of Ballet, which is another full-time, actually it is different now. Now it's a training syllabus, but back then I taught there. And I started doing summer schools for the Australian Ballet School, because Christine brought me in for that. And then Christine retired and suggested that I was
So you fell into the role?
Kind of, yeah.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. Obviously, like you were the perfect person for it. So, like, what a compliment.
It's a huge compliment, and I feel very, extremely like sometimes I have to pinch myself that I'm teaching there, but I just absolutely love teaching the students, and they're so excited by all forms of dance, and they really love Ukrainian dance, which makes me really happy.
And when you first went there, because it's kids, were you used to teaching people of that age?
Yes. So I've taught children from the age of 3 to no limit on the other end.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But these children are very disciplined, though, aren't
Absolutely,
they?
yes. It's beautiful.
Yeah, which they're there to learn.
Absolutely,
So it would help you with your company as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's really changed since I probably started teaching more of a vocational setting. It has definitely changed the way, or back then changed the way I teach. So I've been probably teaching in full-time ballet schools now for just after my son was born, I think, so about 12 years.
Yeah.
So that, it did change a lot. I guess I grew up in a ballet school environment, so I was used to that setting.
Of course you
would. But then
yeah.
I went into teaching very community, and then I guess when I opened Lehenda, I really tried to, even though many members of the Ukrainian community attend, I really did try to change that format and the way we operate, and we have successfully done that, and it's very much more like a ballet school, but that teaches Ukrainian, and we teach ballet, and we've had acrobatics for many years as well. This year we don't have it on the program, but we.
Well, I can understand that with some of the feats that I've seen in photos. But you mentioned there's 6 or 8, I think there were, people that have come there that aren't Ukrainian. What's spoken there? Are people speaking in English all the time, or is it a mixture? Or?
It's a mix. We actually, up until a couple of years ago, everybody who danced with us was Australian born.
Oh, okay.
But since the war, we've had a few dancers come to us who have come from Ukraine since the war began, and I've hired 2 teachers also. In the school, so it's been really beautiful. We've had a lot of young students as well come to us, so families who have moved here. So since that, we've had to definitely, the language has shifted slightly to both. I mean, it's still both, because we have children here who don't understand Ukrainian, and then children who at the time didn't understand any English. Now they do, because they're now in Australian schools. And then the teachers that we had that both came here, one of them could speak a little bit of English when she arrived, the other one nothing. Now she can speak a little bit of English, but they teach, dance is really movement, and that helps a lot, and there's a lot of language which is in French with ballet, or movement, Ukrainian movement.
Right, okay.
So we haven't had issues with that. It's been fine to communicate.
Yeah.
Right.
And has there been an increase in people wanting to join because of the war? Think I need to step up because of my heritage.
I'm not sure. No, I think the war started at a really interesting time, because COVID had just kind of finished. Well, not finished, it's not finished, but that lockdown period and everything had we'd come out of that, and then this started. So COVID was obviously a very interesting time for everybody, and especially arts organisations, and especially dance schools. It was very difficult. We spent a lot of time online. So our numbers had really fluctuated through COVID and after COVID. Just before COVID hit, we were supposed to tour Ukraine in November of 2020, November, December, and obviously that fell over because of COVID, and then the war began, so again, we weren't going to tour, and our numbers were so strong before that, and then COVID, and that, especially that generation, the age group that had just finished school, started uni or at uni, it was a different kind of difficult for them than people with families. I mean, everyone struggled in their own way.
Yeah.
So we definitely lost a lot of dancers through that period. And then slowly we've been building back up after that, and we're kind of looking like we did before then.
Melanie, how important is it that you've got this 10 years and right at this moment, you must be so proud of what you're doing.
Yeah, I have to pinch myself sometimes. I'm so proud of everybody who's helped along the way. We've had, I mean, it's not just me. I've not done this
of course.
alone, and we've got amazing teams of people who mostly volunteer. We've had a number of teachers who have taught with us and come and gone over time because of family commitments and work and different reasons. But I am extremely proud of what we've achieved in the last 10 years. And when we first started, how quickly we managed to put together sew costumes and get on stage and really continue to do what my aim was, which was to share Ukrainian culture and Ukrainian dance as far and wide as I can.
Yeah, and like you mentioned costumes and whatever, that's all expense, and the sets and advertising when you go on because we're going to start talking about touring soon. It's a big expense, isn't it? Where do you do you apply for funding?
Yeah, it's huge. So it's a lot of things. So when we do performances, when the company do performances, we take those funds and put it into one account, and that goes to costumes, to theatre hire, to things like that. There's so many dancers that when we do a big show, I find it very hard to apply for funding because as soon as we say the dancers aren't paid, we straight away get no. But I guess our format's a little bit different. We've got a company of 40 dancers. If I was going to pay the dancers, who's going to fund that? It's hard enough to get anything. So there are a few Ukrainian funds that have been really supportive to us. Not in huge amounts. We get a lot of sponsorship we search for sponsorship. All of that was much easier before the war because now everybody is putting efforts and energy and money into supporting Ukraine directly, even though what we do is a huge support to Ukraine because advocating for Ukraine is also really important.
Yeah.
So I guess when we put on shows, it is very scary and it's risky because we do have to hire the theatre and cover the cost of the theatre, and you can't guarantee a box office. So we just keep encouraging people to come to our shows, and we do our best to get volunteers, get help, do things, raise funds. None of it is by any means easy.
No, it's not for a normal, a small company, let alone one as big as this, and the organisation that's behind it all. So 10 years, you're going out on the road. How important is that tour of going out on the road?
Well, when we first opened Lehenda, the very first show that we did was Kaska, which is a fairy tale of love, loss, and a mysterious blue fox. So it's a piece that I put together with a group of artists, Nicholas Buck, who is a composer and also conducts many things, Simon Kohut, who helped write the story, Stefan Moravsky, who is a set designer and graphic designer. He also designs all our graphics. And Natalia Moravsky, who's a costume designer. So we worked together and we just made this story. It was actually created before Lehenda was. And then we brought it to the company to perform. So this was the first thing we did with our company. So 10 years later, to bring it back, it was really something that gelled the group together because we made all of our sets and props and everything. We painted the backdrops ourselves. We had an amazing designer who created everything and gave us instruction. We had an amazing carpenter that we work with, George Fedeshin, who is extremely talented. And I guess with everybody, we did this and we used all our networks and pulled in artists and did what we can, and then all the dancers, had to glue all the netting on and do all the things that were
But isn't that lovely though, as well?
It really was, because it really brought everybody really together. So I guess this show really has a special meaning to us. And I guess the last 2 years have been really difficult, and this show is funny and happy, and yes, it's also sad, but it's a bit of everything, and it is just it's a mix of animal and human world, and goes through fairy tales and Ukrainian fairy tales and literature, and so it's a really fun, accessible way to learn about Ukrainian culture in a really different way. And the dancers always are like, bring back Kaska, we love Kaska. So after 10 years, it's back, and we're really excited to perform it again.
So is it just part of the community that come to see the plays, or are you not plays? Sorry, the show, or are you trying to break down barriers and get new people like myself to see it?
Absolutely. We love to open to everybody. And actually, a lot of the shows that we do, we've done now probably 4 national tours, like 4 different shows. And then obviously we've repeated them lots of times. But we really aim to, obviously we want Ukrainians to attend as well, and our family and friends.
Yep.
But we really try to aim really wide and invite everybody, anybody to come and see the show, because everybody who does see Ukrainian dance does get really excited by it. They love it. So I remember years ago now, maybe it was like 2016, we performed at the Australian Dance Awards for Ausdance. And so it really was not a home crowd by any means. Yes, we were in Melbourne, we're at the Playhouse. And after we performed, the cheer from the crowd was the most incredible thing.
Wow.
I think I was actually performing that time, and I was like, it was like we were performing to every one of our family and friends. It was just embraced in such a beautiful way. And I think obviously dancers appreciate the dance style because it's really fun and acrobatic and technical. And I just encourage everybody to come and get involved and see it and learn something different about a different dance style, because it's really fun.
But behind the scenes, you're organising to go on the road. Like the technical side of it must be a nightmare for you guys.
It's fun.
It's fun. That's a good way of putting it.
We've got a good team of people. My husband Alex, he's our production manager, and he helps with a lot of the admin. We've got a great stage manager, Natalia Popovich. We've got like a huge team of people who help volunteer. Everybody volunteers. So our costume team is huge, and we have dancers who then have stopped dancing for a while, then we come onto the other side. Sarah Cossey, who she came on as my assistant artist director of the school for a while, and she's also helping a lot with trying to get funding and media and things like that. So,
and the costumes, are they? Do you stick very much to tradition? Is that what it's all about?
So Melanie Moravski, who designs our costumes, she loves going back to traditional.
Yep.
Obviously, they can't be fully traditional to be danced. So many of our costumes have a contemporary spin on them.
Yep.
Obviously, in Cusco, where we have animals and birds, and obviously they're in the essence of Ukrainian, but are contemporary. But then there are other things like you'd see in these costumes that would be.
It looks very traditional.
Very traditional, however, the traditional probably would have gone down to the ankle. And they're shorter, there is definitely, they are as traditional as they can be for stage, I would say. Because for the women especially, I mean, sometimes we do things that are quite a bit longer. It just depends on the dance and the region. So Ukraine is made up of lots of different dance regions, and every region has a different dance style, costumes, music, and within that there's endless possibilities. So that's part of the reason I love Ukrainian dance, because it's just like putting ballet, tap, jazz next to each other and say they all come back to one place, because it's that varied. And it just makes it interesting, because it's not just like, oh, we're doing this and that is it. But there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
And then there's storytelling in ways which is something we love to do. So Lehenda translates to as legend, but not like legend, more story. It's about telling stories.
Right.
So, and that's what we love to do. We love to tell stories.
Yeah. What interesting. That was my next question.
Sorry.
So no, it's good. So tell us a little bit more about the title.
Yeah. So Lehenda, legend, meaning legend.
Yep.
We love to tell stories of history, of folklore, of tradition, new stories, old stories. We, like with Kuska, the stories we tell through that, there's 2 different fairy tales and a piece of literature, which is, I guess, a little bit more modern, that weave together. So some things are old. We have another piece called Kyiv, that we put together. I choreographed in 2017, and it is about the legend of Kyiv, Kyiv, and their sister Debelyy, which is three brothers and a sister who have said that legend has it that they founded Kyiv, that they found Kyiv and they built Kyiv.
Right, okay.
And our logo, the face of the logo, when we designed that with Stefan, is Debelyy, the sister. We chose her as our logo because it was like that spirit of discovery, storytelling. So we did actually put that into dance in 2017. We're inspired by, at the time, the war had already started. It was, there is an image in the main square. There is a big statue of the three brothers and Debelyy, and it's gorgeous, and it's been there for many, many, many years. And there's this photo with Ukrainian flags and fire and gunshots and everything surrounding it, and that just inspired us to think of what they have seen over time. And our piece starts with them finding Kyiv, building Kyiv, and then symbolically Kyiv being attacked over and over again. And when we created it, it was symbolically about all the different wars Ukraine's ever fought, and then coming out of that. So we created that piece well before the last 2 years of war, but we have brought it out since and performed it a number of times since the war began, because it just seems to be very relevant at the moment.
It's just one of those, and what a beautiful story. So I'm glad I asked you for more details about it, because it gives you that insight then of when you're going to sit there and watch it unfold. And the meaning behind it, the statue and everything. I just love it, and I could see the image of the sister over your shoulder, which is gorgeous as well. So here you go out on the road with it. When does it start?
April.
Right. Okay.
So we're doing a number of things this year. Kaska is one of them, which we'll be performing in Melbourne. We'll go to Sydney. And potentially we're going to add another few locations after that, we'll see. And then in August, we're going to do a big 10th anniversary concert, and that will be with the school and the company, which we've never done a show together before. I've kept them very separate, and the school has always done their own, like a dance school does, annual concerts. They dance at festivals, community events. We get them out as much as we can, but this is going to be a special concert where we are going to put everybody on the stage together.
Whereabouts?
At the National Theatre.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so that will be in August, and it will be kind of a really nice celebration of what we've achieved in the last 10 years. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on what you're doing and support of a country that's in so much turmoil right now. I just think it's wonderful, and I really wanted to talk to you about it because of what it means. Can't wait to see this live show that you're doing, and and the fact that it's all volunteers. It just makes me sing with pride for you guys. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been great to talk to you.
No, my pleasure. I'm David Hunt. You've been watching The Art Hunter, and we'll be back again next week. See ya.